Hi, I'm Anna, or Anna G Writes and Reads. I want to go through some bookish related activities that you can do when you don't feel like reading a physical book or that you want to do while listening to an audiobook. Right now I'm listening to Court, which is a massive audiobook. I'm one of those people that always needs to be doing something while listening to an audiobook. I can't just sit there and listen. I have to do something in order to retain the information. So I'm going to take you through some of the things that I do. Some of the stuff you might be able to do. Some of the stuff is unique to me, but come along with me. So I make quite a bit of bookish content and post daily on all across the internet. So one thing that I do while listening to audiobooks is I make my 365 days of book content. We have a standalone book today. This is what I'm gonna make the content with, and I'll listen to the audiobook in the background as I record the video. So let's see how it goes. All right, now that we're done filming, I don't get to listen very long when I film, but I am going to then take the picture of the book that I post on my other social media platforms. Okay, so now that I have the photo and the video done, I'll listen to my audiobook while I type up the description. I have a spreadsheet where I typed out all of my books. I didn't actually have 365 books to type out, but now that I've gotten some and I plan to purchase more, this series should go through the rest of the year. So I'm gonna, like I said, listen to my audiobook and type up the descriptions for The Tree of Knowledge and then some other books that I need to put descriptions for, but that I already have the content ready for. Audiobook while doing these bookish related activities, but I'm also not always in the mood to read my physical book. So I just uploaded the clips for this video and for the video that was posted last week. I just uploaded those and I might spend a little bit of time editing those, but I actually have to get going for a bowling event today, which is really exciting. So those are the clips I just uploaded. I just use iMovie. I'm not that fancy. So I am heading out to our little bowling tournament today. We don't live near anything. We kind of live in the middle of nowhere. So driving anywhere is at least a 30-minute trip. So I get a lot of audiobook time in the car. This is a really good way for me to get my reading in because obviously you cannot read a physical book while you're the one driving. If you're the passenger, sure, but not while you're the one driving. So this is a really good way that I get a lot of my audiobooks in during the month. And even if I did have another person to drive for me, I would usually prefer to listen to audiobooks because I get pretty bad motion sickness, but I really like reading physical books on planes. So kind of a little interesting dynamic there. Okay, so I'm facing a different way than I usually do because something bookish that I've wanted to do while listening to my audiobook has been to finally actually catalog my TBR, which is all of this shelf and this shelf, which is double stacked if you watched my last video. I'm gonna do it. This is the week that I'm gonna do it. This is the week that I'm working on bookish stuff when I don't want to read a physical book. I'm going to do it. Hopefully the next clip after maybe a little time lapse is me saying that I'm done. Okay, so I've mostly finished cataloging the books on my TBR, which is exciting. I just have on the shelf behind me, there's like a whole stack of books behind the first stack. So I have to do those, but I don't want to do those today. That can be another day. I also have a really long Libby TBR, which there's not, is there any overlap? I don't really know. I don't think there's any. So I might try to enter that too, because I don't know, cataloging my TBR is really satisfying and something bookish I can do again without reading a physical book if I'm just not in the mood for it. So another bookish thing that I do is obviously make my bookish content. It really, I don't know, it almost keeps me more engaged with reading, knowing that I can think of ideas to talk about books. And usually right after I finish a book, I'm on a huge kick for what content I want to create. I just finished Legendborn, and yeah, I have like a bunch of ideas. It's the same thing listening to Court right now, which I've listened to, you know, quite a bit thanks to all these activities, but obviously I can't listen to an audiobook during this. And sometimes this is a nice little reading break in case I'm like tired or feeling not engaged. This helps me almost get like re-engaged with reading. So I definitely recommend making bookish content. Something else that I do, especially while listening to audiobooks, and I already did some of this in my last readathon video, but I do chores. Anytime I'm doing a chore, I have an audiobook on because I just can't do anything in silence. So we have some dishes and we have laundry to do. Don't know if we're gonna do laundry today, but we'll definitely do the dishes. Another bookish activity that I do while listening to an audiobook is doing book reviews for some of the other books that I have listened to or read during the week. So this is a clip of me recording myself doing the reviews because, I don't know, I think I want to have like a cool little end of year wrap up with the reviews that I have typed on my Spreadsheets, Goodreads, and Storygraph. So I try to record every review that I do. Well, Goodreads is not working right now, but I do read advanced reader copies and I listen to advanced listener copies through NetGalley. I know I should post the review on Goodreads, but there's nothing I can do if it's broken. So I don't know if I'm going to do my other 3 reviews for books that I've read because I'm very behind. And I don't know if I feel like doing that right now, but I am convinced I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then I was debating finishing cataloging my books that are like double stacked, but I can't really do that without Goodreads. So probably just either gonna listen to my audiobook or I'm gonna actually read a physical book because, you know, after doing all these activities, sometimes it's good to pick up a physical book. I'm lucky enough to work from home. So one time that I really get a lot of audiobook listening in is when I'm working. I know this whole time, no one's seen me work. I do have a full-time job. I'm a project manager. So yeah, let's work a little bit and keep listening to the audiobook. I only have like 5 hours left, which is pretty good. That means I've listened to like 18 hours of it during the course of making this video. I mentioned a few clips ago, which has actually been 2 days in the real world, that I also had laundry to do to listen to my audiobook. Yeah, those clothes haven't been folded yet, so we're gonna do that now. So with taking all of my little tips from this past week, I was able to finish Court, which is a 24-hour long audiobook. I also finished listening to A Half-Baked Murder, which is an audiobook arc that I had requested and I thoroughly enjoyed. It's currently out now, which is exciting. And I also got about 5-6 hours into Charm, which is the 5th book in the Crave series. So do you listen to audiobooks while you do pretty much everything like I do? Are you going to try one of these new tips so you can listen to more audiobooks? Definitely let me know.